we've got your Raiders covered.
Knock on wood if you're with me.
It's Silver and Black Today on CBS Sports Radio 1140. And now, here's your host, Scott Gobranson.
Welcome back to hour number 2 of the Silver and Black Today here on CBS Sports Radio 1140. We are excited to talk with our next guest, who I know you all know well, a gifted actor, a card-carrying member of Raider Nation, best known for his roles as the pirate Pintel in Pirates of the Caribbean, as well as his recent run as Grumpy. That's right, Grumpy in the hit TV series Once Upon a Time, and his memorable roles, at least for me, in several Star Trek series, and one of my favorites, Seinfeld, as Mike the Bookie. Love that parking spot episode, by the way. Mr. Lee Arenberg. Lee, welcome to the Silver and Black Today, my friend.
Good morning, Raider Nation. Thanks for having me.
All right, man. Well, we appreciate it, and I want to jump right in, and I know we have a good amount of time to talk to you today. We're all trapped, right? So, but it's good because there's yeah, that's right. I love it though, man. It's great to be able to talk to you. You have such an amazing and dynamic career, and of course the Raider fandom we'll get to as well. But as we start the show, we first have to get, just to set up people, and I know a lot of our listeners and viewers were really excited about having you on. How did you become a Raider fan? What was the kind of genesis of you becoming that member of Raider Nation?
Well, you know what? I mean, I'm an LA kid. I grew up in LA. And so really it was the LA Raiders that sold me for like do or die, silver and black for life. I'd always been a fan of kind of the aggression of the squad, but it was that 1981 Super Bowl, like right before they moved to LA. I was at UCLA doing theater, and I was watching that Super Bowl game in a dressing room while a show was on stage. And when we scored a touchdown, it might have even been Kenny King going to the house. I screamed and we went nuts, and we got in big trouble for it. And that hooked me, bro.
Oh, that would, man. What a great game. And Kenny's son, Kenny King Jr., good guy and a friend of the show as well. And I'm sure he's listening and appreciates you mentioning Dad there. Now, you talk about that, and you mentioned UCLA. You mentioned growing up an LA kid. Of course, you went to Santa Monica High School, and we'll talk about who you went to high school with in a little bit. But You've had that acting bug since you were a young guy, and you come out of Santa Monica. Of course, Sean Penn, Emilio Estevez, Robert Downey Jr. These are guys that you went to school with. You must have had one hell of a drama department.
We really did, actually. I mean, that's the truth. Yeah, the high school theater. Yeah, I'm like the world's oldest brat packer, for real. Because like it's taken me 40 years for guys to like, hey, you're pretty good, man. But that's just the thing about a character actor's career. The trajectory is a little bit, takes a little longer. And then when they finally go, hey, Seinfeld was good, Star Trek was good, man, Pirates was good, it adds up. And so, yeah, many blessings. My family wasn't in the business. So even though I grew up in the shadow of the studio and surrounded by the movie stars, man, it was a 1,000,000-mile journey just to get invited to the party, for sure.
Oh, I can imagine. Yeah. I mean, I know it's a tough business. It always has been. And I think, for me, one of the hallmarks of a great actor overall is being versatile, right? So you have played so many different roles, that span and range, that'd be tough for some. How did you develop that versatility that has helped you have this great career that you've had?
Well, I mean, it's kind of like I started in the theater. So when I did a lot of theater in high school, then when I went to UCLA, I started a theater company called the Actors Gang with my buddies at UCLA and a lot of other kind of real famous. Tim Robbins, he was kind of like my older brother in college, and he was kind of the leading force and took his early movie star money and invested it back in his fellow artists. And out of our theater company came Jack Black, Kyle Gass. The band Tenacious D started in our theater. Kyle was my old roommate. So, I mean, I think it's also just, the people you surround yourself with, the level of competition. And I think that really helped me. Being into sports actually helped my acting career because, you run a basketball game, you're trying your hardest. And at the end of the game, it's like, all right, let's run it back. Win or lose, you still get the experience. And so, a lot of acting is the rejection the audition process. But how do you stay focused and eyes on the prize maybe when you're not getting that first or second opportunity? And so I think you just got to be driven, man. You have to want it. I would say, people say, what advice do you have for young actors? I say, don't do it. But if that doesn't convince you not to, welcome to the club. Bunch of crazy driven dudes,
Oh yeah. Again, we're talking to Lee Arenberg, great actor, and of course Raiders fan. And Lee, you bring up acting and sports together. Just like you said, being a character actor, and I remember Humphrey Bogart started as a character actor, right? One of the best ever. And you look at sports too, and I think that's where we know those guys that get the covers of People magazine and all that kind of stuff, just like they get the cover of Sports Illustrated. But it's the guys who are working constantly. And as an actor, for you, you've had all these types of roles and you've made a great life for yourself and a great career for yourself by being that versatile. But there's always roles that you like and always roles that kind of help you grow as an athlete. If you're, let's say, a backup player, or you're a player who's playing on the offensive line versus quarterback. For you, are there roles that really had that type of impact on you in your career?
Well, for sure. I mean, listen, I always see myself as like, I want them to give me the ball. This is, I use sports, philosophy really for a lot of the acting. It's like, I'm a third down back, I'm that kind of like, I'm a nickel D back or something. I come in, they don't always need character actors, but when they need you badly. Your contribution is that little bit of flavor. It's the cherry on the sundae. And, you got to believe in yourself before. That's how people believe in you. If you're out there and you want to have a dream as a musician, in radio, in any of the arts, in any business really, believe in yourself. And that faith will open those doors magically, because that's how people believe in you. And I got a strong energy about me. Obviously, I'm intense, and it's just that, like, I was too short, bald, and crazy to be playing in the NFL. I had to go acting. That was my chance,
Again, we're talking to Lee Arenberg, actor and Raiders fan. And Lee, the role of Pintel in the three Pirates of the Caribbean movies you were part of, that role too, I think is a great example. Not only does it fit so well with you being a Raider fan and it being a pirate movie, but that role adds so much to that film. Of course, you have the Johnny Depp role and all that stuff, and how much time and effort and focus that role takes in the movie, and of course the other great actors you were with it too. But that role, I think that's a great example of what you're talking about. Is when it's third down and you get the ball, you need to take it over that goal line, and that's what you're able to do. How much fun was it working on those movies?
Oh my God! Seriously, we lived in the Caribbean for 2 years. I got to take a speedboat to work and hang with Keira Knightley all day. So it was pretty sweet. Honestly, it was a lucky break, because all the roles were cast in London. The primary casting started there because there was no America. So English characters, the pirate world was prior to the modern day America. So I got real lucky, and that's why I say, my break was they couldn't find that short, bald, and crazy in London. And they came looking to Hollywood, and I won that lotto. But
nice.
This is for all you pirate fans out there. Here's a good one. Ello Puppet.
I love it.
I got my little catchphrase. And you know what, though? It's all about, like I say, when they give you that chance in our business, you got to go for it. We're the only business where a 70% completion rating isn't good enough. We have to be 100%. They give you a laugh line, you get a laugh with it. And so acting is, 1,000% business. You got to have that's the execution that we're shooting for. And so it's very tied into sports.
Absolutely.
We want to execute those first 15 plays, start this play strong, start this movie strong. And it's a team effort. There were 1,000 people on the crew daily on Pirates. Marine guys, safety, caterers, construction, the grips, the electrics, right? The actors, we're the beneficiaries of everyone's effort. So it's an ultimate team sport. Making movies, making TV is team sport.
Well, and I have to over the air tell you hello from our good friend Andrea Villapiano, Phil Villapiano's daughter. Kelly's her.
Oh man,
Villapiano
and
Kelly.
shout out to Andrea and Phil. Andrea welcomed me into kind of Raider Nation social media, and now I have a lot of Raider fans that are following, and awesome people from the heart. And obviously number 41. I mean, who wouldn't want to wear a 41 jersey, bro?
Oh yeah. I mean, yeah, that doesn't. We have dubbed him here on our show, and we take full credit for it. We have dubbed him the honorary new mayor of Las Vegas. So when he comes out, I told him, and Phil said, hey, when I get out there, we all the three of us, the guys on the show here, and him got to sit down and have a beer, and I can't wait to do that when the stadium opens.
Oh my God, I'm jumping up that by carry.
Oh yeah, you got to be there, man. You got to be there. Yeah. But Lee, one thing, we're going to go to a break here in a few minutes, but Andrea and I started talking because we're both huge Seinfeld fans, and you were in 2 episodes, but they're 2 very well-known episodes, playing Mike, right, Mikey the bookie,
and the worst bookie in the world.
Yeah, exactly. But those kind of roles too, when you get the opportunity, you talk about taking opportunity and running with it, to get in a show at that time like Seinfeld for you too, that had to be big as well, right?
That was huge, dude. I was a relatively young guy at the time, and I mean, TV has changed so much, because back in the day, that's the 90s. That first show I did would have been 93 maybe. Mm-hmm. And 40 million people would watch that Thursday night on NBC. And so the impact, I got a standing ovation at the dog park, man, the next day. It was pretty cool.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome. The dog park. Never where you think you're going to get your adulation, right? But you get it there. Anyway, all right, listen, Lee, we're going to...
dog park, yeah.
That's there you go. Full of actors, right? That's good. Appreciation of good work. All right, Lee, we're going to put you on hold here. We're going to go to a break. When we come back, we'll get more into Raider football, get your views on where they're headed, the move to Las Vegas, and more. Again, we're being joined by Lee Arenberg, of course, the actor and great Raiders fan, and he'll stay with us coming into the next segment. You're listening to The Silver and Black Today here on CBS Sports Radio 1140.
This is Silver and Black Today, live on CBS Sports Radio 1140.
Welcome back to the Silver and Black Today here on CBS Sports Radio 1140. Appreciate you guys joining us on your Easter Sunday. Hope you're all having a good day and getting a little bit of a respite, listening and talking some Raiders football. And our special guest today, you would know him very well seeing him. And if you're watching our video feed, we got Lee Arenberg with us. And Lee is a great actor and a huge Raiders fan. Know him from Seinfeld, Star Trek, although lots of makeup in Star Trek, and also, of course, Pirates of the Caribbean. And Lee, before I get to this question I have for you, we had one of the guys on our YouTube feed said that you need to be on the sideline dressed in your Pintel character and become a Raiders institution.
I got my face
sideline.
paint on right now, so I'm ready, bro. Bring it.
Yeah, a lot of comments about it.
Through and through. There's nowhere I'd rather be like watching the game than in the black hole. I think that is one of the great. We're the most misunderstood fans in the world. We look like badasses, but they're the biggest sweethearts in the world.
Oh yeah. Yeah, we've learned that because I did not grow up a Raider fan. I grew up 110 miles south from where you did in San Diego, so it was the opposite where I grew up. But I'll tell you, amazing people since I've been doing this show, and we've had the website now for 3 years. Amazing, and by far the best fans there are in all of sports, in my view. But you think about Raider football, Lee, and it's been a long few decades for the franchise. You know, you talked about being in college and that 81 and then of course the 83 season, all that greatness that was the Raiders, and including losing Al Davis in 2011. As a fan, how tough has that been for you not to see them where they once were?
It's brutal, dude. It's brutal. I mean, the thing about us, I mean, myself as a Raiders fan, is I'm myopic. Every year it's Super Bowl. That's my prediction every year. So, you know, it's even, and I'm a pretty good sports handicapper, but I'm still when it comes to my Raider football, it's like, it's just win, baby, nothing else. It's like, if we don't have that commitment to excellence and the Raider tradition, that's really what the program for me is, why I love the squad. It's like once a Raider, always a Raider. I just love all that. And, I think that the turning point for our squad, I feel like we're coming around. Obviously, this draft is huge. But, yeah, it's tough. I'll tell you a good story. On the first Pirates, we started shooting in 2002, and we were in the Caribbean in 2003 for that Super Bowl against Tampa Bay. So it's an all-Pirate Super Bowl, and I'm making the Pirate movie. And I'll tell you something, dude. Watching that game in St. Vincent in the Caribbean, trust me, dude, we were all the Raider fans were drinking by halftime. That was a rough one, and it's been a rough 10 years, bro.
Hey, Lee, it's Chaz. We all have Raider friends and kind of friends that like other teams, and we kind of give the business back and forth with. You talk about all these incredible actors that you kind of grew into the business with. Who do you talk to most? Who do you give the most football trash with?
Wow. It's right. That's a good question, man. I tell you something. A lot of my buds. I know so many New Yorkers. It's hard to say. I think I do most of my BSing with producers. Guys that can actually hire you. Like, who cares about the other actors? I want to schmooze the producers who can give me the gig. Yeah, I don't know. People know I'm do or die Raider, and it's been some rough seasons. It's funny. I consider everyone else super bandwagon. Like, I'll have actor friends that they grew up in Dallas, but they like Kansas City, and then when Green Bay's good, they like the Pack. I'm like, I love my team, win or lose. Yeah, we have the best colors. Obviously, I'm a Pirate for life. So, yeah, I'll give the BS to anyone though, bro. If they started out. For sure.
I love it. Let's jump ahead now, Lee, because the Raiders, they decide, of course, unfortunately for the folks in Oakland, but it benefits us. We're based in Las Vegas, so obviously we're happy about the relocation. And they come here, they decide they're bringing John Gruden back. Mike Mayock comes in. They really look to have that ship turned in the right direction. What do you think so far, and going into year 3, about the job they're doing and kind of getting that swagger back?
Well, I think it's starting to happen. Obviously, we had such a great start last season. In fact, I am like such a sports guy, and this the Corona the experience is no bueno for us sports fans with no live stuff. The NFL draft is the only event on the schedule that's legit, right? Yeah, I'm actually watching, like, in my background noise for this is Red Zone Channel 24/7, So, actually, I think I'm watching week 7 right now is in the background, and I think it was a good week for us. I see some Darren Waller with 2 touchdowns and 134 yards. I'm like, oh, yeah, that was a good week. We're definitely heading in the right direction. I guarantee it. A little more consistency in getting that ball downfield. Obviously, this draft, if we get our big hawks at the wide receiver, which is key, and improve the D. Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, and if you look at this current roster, right? We as fans, I think we always look at our teams, and there's a couple. You like the whole team, of course, but there's a couple of guys who appeal to you. Is there somebody that appeals to you, and as a guy that you just love watching?
Yeah, well, it's Josh Jacobs, no question.
Yeah.
And I'm a fantasy football guy too for many years, so I snagged that sucker way early, and my guys in my league were like, "What are you doing wasting a 5th round?" I was like, "Because I know what's coming." And his story is so great, and I'm down with his father, and just like the ability for people to kind of overcome their adversity. That's the triumph of sports for me. The way out of the poverty that he experienced. That story makes me cry when I see it, and so for his success, he's my number one right now on the squad. I love him. But boy, it was great to be on Hard Knocks. I really learned this squad. I loved how that Hard Knocks came out, and I'm knocking on some wood if you can hear me.
I love it. Again, we're talking to actor Lee Arenberg, of course, Pirates of the Caribbean fame, Once Upon a Time, you name it, Seinfeld, Star Trek, you name it. He's been everywhere and done an amazing job. And Lee, when you look at this team too, clearly coming to Las Vegas, I know from your social media too, you were up in Oakland last season. You see some games up there. With them being closer, of course, as an actor, your schedule can be nuts. But with them being a little bit closer, you anticipate coming up and catching some games here in Las Vegas since it's a little closer?
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, and also the great thing too is I'll go see them at the SoFi when they're going against the Chargers or if they play the Rams. I will travel. I mean, that's the great thing too about the Raider Nation. It's like we represent in every stadium in America. And for sure, I'm excited that the new kind of like Death Star or whatever we're calling Allegiant Stadium. It looks rad, dude. I mean, I've been watching the building of it and all the videos, and it's gorgeous looking. And I think Vegas is a fine spot for it. It's a city that'll attract. Obviously, it's going to be a hot ticket. But I think it's a smart move for them. You know, I'm hoping it all works out. Obviously, I think that Mark Davis seems to be pushing us in the right direction, and we need a good stadium. We want to have. We're a sexy brand, and I think obviously, we're bringing swagger to Vegas in a way that it's exciting. It's Raider Nation. It doesn't matter where we play. We're Raiders.
That's right. And that's the point. And the other, by the way, the two most. Well, actually, there's three names, kind of nicknames for the stadium. We'll see which one sticks, right? Which is, you mentioned one, Death Star. The other is the Al, because it's Allegiant Stadium, right? So it makes sense to call it the Al Davis thing there as well. But the third one that's gaining in popularity, I even saw somebody's made a T-shirt out of it, is they're calling it the Black Pearl.
Whoa,
so
I'm down.
Yeah,
all right.
So I'm thinking. Well, that's what I'm thinking, Lee. I'm thinking that the Raiders need to pick that one and then get you in a spot. You're an actor. They can hire you, right? Have you come down here and they could do some really creative stuff. And I'm hoping that, even though the new Al Davis torch is going to be massive and beautiful inside the stadium, they're still going to have people light it and so on. So I'm hoping that you get that opportunity because it would be great. And whether or not, I think they'd have you probably do it as you, not as Pintel, but it would be kind of fun to have you kind of swoop in on some big cable and light it as Pintel as well.
Oh my God, that would be the dream come true. You'd have to get permission from Disney.
I know.
But yeah, I'm sure, and the great thing too, I think when I was the last game I saw up there was the Tennessee game, and Shane Leckler lit it. And I mean, just a way to give tribute to these legendary players. I mean, we're the only team with like two of the best punters in NFL history. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely.
And even Marquette was a great punter too. He was a heck of a punter.
Yes.
So, but yeah, Ray Guy, I mean, that's the thing about the Raiders, like Jim Otto, the legends. Yeah. I mean, I consider character actors like the O-line of acting.
Yes.
We're the O-line. You need us because we fill out the colors, but obviously the QB and your star positions are going to get the attention. But without an O-line, you're not winning, bro.
No, absolutely. Got to win it up, as they call it, with the uglies, right?
So
that'll be fun.
My specialty of the house, bro.
Lee Arenberg, listen, man, we appreciate you spending the time today. We'll have you on again, I'm sure, especially when we get to talk more about football, as long as it works around your schedule. And I know you got a bunch of stuff, I'm sure, in the works that we'll see very soon. So thank you so much for spending so much time with us today.
Guys, have a great day. Have a great Easter. Rock your pandemic. My message to everyone in the Raider Nation is stay safe, stay strong, and treat the ones you love like you really love them. All right.
That's awesome. Yeah. Lee Arenberg, we appreciate it. Raider fan, amazing actor. We appreciate you being here. All right, we're going to step aside. When we come back, we're going to talk cornerbacks with Mr. Kelly Kreiner and Chaz Osborne as we roll on here on the Silver and Black today on CBS Sports Radio 1140.